3 million years from Earth, the Red Dwarf podcast. Thanks for the memory. Its crew, Blake Braswell, a USA native, and Lee Malaby, his English co-host. Additional. As the journey continues, I have given up hope on remaining goits. I long for the day of a nice goit dropping disdainfully out of someone's mouth. If only more characters would now shout goit at every deserving get on this vessel. I miss goit. Goit. What's up, Smegheads, and welcome to the Series 8 of Thanks for the Memory, a Red Dwarf podcast, where we rewatch every episode of the BBC comedy show Red Dwarf and discuss them. As always, I am Blake with my favorite goit, Lee.
I really miss goit as well. There's still no better scene than in whichever episode it was. I think it's series 1 when it's like, Holly, you're a goit. You're all goits. Best one ever. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh man, I miss it too. It would greatly please me for all the things that Series 8 has tried to bring back. There's not goit.
I feel like we've talked a lot about this. So again, pulling back the curtain, we literally just finished recording the last episode. I feel like we've talked about this episode a lot already, and we're only actually just starting to talk about it now.
When weirdly we say frequently we have this thing where I wouldn't have thought these two episodes paired up well together, but I'm glad they came together.
Yeah.
And this is, at first, as I started watching the end of Series 3, I thought, Lee and I screwed this up. We should have watched 1 through 3 and then recorded 1, 2, and 3 relatively close together. But then I felt, well, maybe I'm wrong about this, because maybe it is because it very much finishes. I mean, obviously it's a 3-parter arc, but it's sort of, as we spoke previously, you're coming back to Red Dwarf. Oops, it's different than you thought. Everyone's back. So here's how things work now. Oh, wait. This isn't quite how things work now, because everyone's in trouble now. Oh, wait. It's fake and it's an alternate reality world. Oh, wait. We're going to do this rumor. No, we're not. Wait. Actually, everyone is going to go to jail, and this is what's happening.
Yes.
So it did go through like a series of, if you're just following it, going, what is this show about to be? And then this starts us off with, I think, what it's trying to say that the show is going to be. So it ended up, I think this was a good pairing to do back to back.
I still don't remember enough of this series to know how much the crew are still going to play into the rest of this and moving forward. I don't remember enough.
Well, because now, forget all the actors we hired that were funny in episode 1 and 2. I think Hollister comes back, but now we've got Graham McTavish of Outlander fame and Game of Thrones, the guy who runs the prison. You know what I'm talking about?
I've never watched Game of Thrones.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's this guy. I was like, is that? Oh my God. That's Graham McTavish. Also, like, the best Scottish name ever. Like, it sounds like a fake character that you would have invented. like, oh, it's so Scottish sounding. But I think we now have the Canary crew. It's in this weird way of so they really blew out the budget for introducing a ton of new people.
100%, yeah. So, the episode we are discussing today, as we've said, is the 4th episode of Series 8, Cassandra, which originally aired on March 11th, 1999, which is 2 days after the date we are currently recording. So we're very close again. The synopsis is: Lister volunteers himself, Rimmer, and the rest of the crew for the Canaries, believing it to be a prison choir. They are instead sent on a suicide mission to an ocean moon where they find Cassandra, an AI computer who can see the future. Big sci-fi concept, but kind of... See, I've wrote down here, So this series definitely feels like a soft reboot, and I say soft reboot because we've referenced a lot of things that we've had previous to this. So the sexual magnetism virus, the luck virus, we mentioned future echoes, I do believe, in this episode.
Literally, he says it as if it's an episode title. Yes. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, future echoes. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember that episode in like series 1. Yeah, so it definitely feels like it's a soft reboot. And I think maybe that was because... Did we... Remind me again. Series 7 was terrible, but was the highest viewed. Is that right? It's so weird. Yeah. So weird. So I don't understand why you would reboot it at this point then. Because Series 7 was the first series that Doug Naylor did it on his own, correct? Rob Grant stepped away after Series 6.
Is that right? Yes.
So it seems strange. It would have made more sense to have done it then than to do it now. I wonder what the actual reasoning behind doing a soft reboot after your highest rated series ever.
Well, so it's high rated. Sorry. Highly viewed, poorly rated.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So was the word of mouth rough enough that they didn't and then said, we got to start over and try something new? I mean, because it's weird in some ways. Series 7 is a reboot. You know, it ends with Series 6 ending, their craft gets blown up, and then Starbug comes back, but it's bigger than it was. It's kind of got a Doctor Who-y vibe, like it's inside the TARDIS in one of those sections they walk through. But it's going to be Adventures of the Week, but we're bringing in Kachanski. But it's still at the end of the day was trying to be the old show.
Yeah. But then this one's even trying harder to be the old show, I feel.
But literally trying to squish Series 1 and 2 into Series 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And 3, weirdly enough, to go back, God, did that thing ride the line between both seasons? I mean, literally it did. But also, it is wild to go back and look at some of Series 3 because it does have some adventure-y of the week, but it also has the sitcom. Like, it's that one's a fun one to go back and look at. But it definitely, they're trying to smash everything together. I wrote classic Red Dwarf sci-fi premise wrapped into its new rebooted shiny CGI package.
Yeah. It definitely feels like a story that you would have seen in an earlier series, 1,000%. And the fact, I say, that they mention future echoes, it's like, oh, we've done this, but we're going to do something that's kind of the same as that, but slightly different.
So I think I told you about that in the previous pod, my subsequent viewing of when they were still in the VR or AR, and they try to convince Rimmer to join them. And I thought, God, man, it makes me wish they had just done that. Like, and they just escaped and they had adventures on a blue dwarf or a starbug, whatever, or blue midget, whatever, and then came back to the crew. And in a weird way, then I finished watching that subsequent, a repeat viewing of this one and went, yeah, because all you did was put them in jail and then quickly figure out a way to get them to go on an adventure.
Yeah.
So why bother? And that really stuck with me on this viewing. And I don't know if it's because I had that thought as I had just finished episode 3 again and gone, man, I kind of wish they had just done that. So hear me out. If you're whoever's pitching these ideas is like, we want to bring back classic Red Dwarf, but we need to change things. I'm like, cool, let's change them. Cool. Well, now that we've reset everything, what do we do with episode 4? Well, episode 4, we're going to classic Series 5 or Series 6 adventure. Well, we can't do it. They're in jail. Well, let's get them in this group. And then we'll do it. So you've created all these reasons to basically get them back to doing what they used to do in Starbug alone.
Yeah.
So why bother keeping them in jail?
So, okay, then let me play devil's advocate. So by them being in Red Dwarf prison and having to join the Canaries, which is basically like their...
It's like a Suicide Squad?
Basically, yeah. We send you to all the places to make sure it's safe for the rest of it. Means you can put them in... It's easier to put them in a dangerous situation because that's literally their job.
But wasn't it that way before when it was just Starbug? Because it's like we're always running out of food and running out of stuff, so we're always going into stuff we shouldn't, that simulants might be in, or we might like. But
they could choose. You could choose to. Oh, that looks a bit dodgy. Let's not go in there.
True.
Whereas this premise is like you go in. Like we think this might be a dodgy ship, but we're sending you in anyway.
To go back, we talked about previous episode. This is how you use Lister being dumb. I said I didn't like the Gideon Bible joke.
Yeah.
But him not knowing what the Canaries are.
Yes.
I do enjoy that because I can imagine a Lister who never paid attention to history.
Yes.
And never knew the phrase of the canary in the coal mine or whatever. I was like, see, Lister is ignorant. He's not stupid.
Yes, there's a big difference.
And I guess you could argue, well, the Gideon Bible, but I'm like, yeah, but a Bible with a printed thing on it like that, you wouldn't think it's a guy's name. It's not like it's handwritten on each Bible that says from Gideon, But this is a good way to do like his just like
yes.
like his ignorance, and it works. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of work to basically get us back. I mean, they're supposed to be prisoners being watched over, and they literally have a scene alone to plan things out together.
Yeah.
And the guys who seem to be guarding them aren't leading the mission. Kachansky is. I found the mainframe. Come with me. And it's like, see this? It doesn't feel like they're prisoners.
No. But then I think they're at a point where I think they're there just to die. Like, that's the thing. They don't care. Once on the ship, it's, we don't care if you die, whatever. Like, they're literally expendable. Like, no one cares. You're prisoners anyway, and it means we don't have to keep you on the ship at that point and feed you or anything. So if you die, whatever, it's no big loss.
Well, and it definitely gives us some fun stuff. Like, I love the insane guy. That's a great gag.
Oh, see, he annoys me, to be fair.
He annoys me, and then that cut of him walking straight into the bulkhead as the first person out, it was like, okay, that was worth the annoying. Like,
he kind of annoys me. I mean, you're missing out that one of the best cold opens we've had in a long time, quite honestly. Where Lister walks in and he's like, right, Holly, have you got an idea? He's like, oh, I have got an idea. And it's literally going to cut your prison sentence down to 14 weeks. He's like, put it on me then. It's like, just become a dog. He's like, what are you talking about, Hol? It's like, well, through my research, I've found out that dog years are 7 times longer than human years. So you could literally just do 14 weeks. And one problem, Hol. I'm not a dog. Oh, well, apparently there's a doctor now who can do it for you. It's called a roverostomy. Here's a picture of it, one now, and he's like, that's a dog. It's like, see how convincing it is? I was like, that's absolutely brilliant.
Again, it's like someone's writing a gag about AI right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I did the research. I found these things together that said this, dog years are this. So if you just become a dog, you're fine. Like, I was like, my God. This actually works again in a way that I did not anticipate it to.
Brilliant.
Great cold open. Actually, a really good cold open with, again, to go back to your point, if we had done series episode 1, 2, and 3 as a one-off long episode, and this was your first cold open, that's a good cold open.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I mean, the stuff with Rimmer and, the whole, talking about what the canaries, you don't know what this is, do you? That brilliant, like, oh, Lister, you're so stupid. And it gets worse. Oh yeah, how? I signed you up too. Classic. Absolutely classic. I signed the whole group up. I thought I was doing us a favor.
Yeah, exactly. Because and it's so old school Red Dwarf. Was like, oh, and it gets worse. Oh, Listy, how does it get worse? I signed you up as well. Feels so much like a series 1 or series 2 joke. We alluded to this. We talked about the another year of having to send a Valentine's card to my hand, and you referenced, like, I think there's one in the second one as well, and I'd forgotten about it. Actually, I was thinking of something else, and I'm assuming this joke is the same one when Lister's like, look, we're all going to get through this by being positive, by being, what's that word women tennis players always used to reckon was so important again, begins with a C, and Rimmer says cunnilingus. Like, what?
But it's the face he makes when he says it. Like, this is such a randier version of Rimmer than we've seen ever. Like, he's making this little face that's like, cunnilingus. Like, that's like the face he's making. Like, also, I don't get the reference. Like, that was a long park walk. What we called, what's that phrase in a
short walk up a long pier.
Yeah. This felt like a long walk for a short pier, because what's that thing that women tennis players used to say they needed started with this? Like, I'm like, what?
I think it's basically saying that all women tennis players were lesbians.
Well, no, but he says they want to be centered. Well, no, I get the Rimmer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get the Rimmer joke. Well, it actually doesn't even really matter, straight or lesbian, right? It still, that gag still works, right? But I think
that was the dig, though, wasn't it?
That's totally the dig. I just mean the reference that Lister's calling
about being
up.
Centered, yeah. No.
I don't remember that being a thing of like, what would be a modern thing to be like, what's that thing every fitness head was into, in the 20 teens, and it's like starts with the C, CrossFit. Yeah, that one. Like centered. I don't ever remember that being like a thing on magazine covers. Anna Kournikova says you must get centered. Like, it's the gag I totally get. And is again Rimmer's delivery that cracks me up. I just didn't get the
sentence, yeah. Although it does lead to probably my favourite joke in this episode. When Lister's like, centred, by being centred, focused, it's only 2 years. What with good behaviour, it'll probably be only 18 months. Remember when you were first born? Then you were 18 months. The time just flashed by. And Rimmer says it flashed by because you had 2 breasts as big as your head at your beck and call day and night. Give me that now, and I won't be whinging. Like, yeah.
So I'm talking about it. This is the randiest Rimmer we have ever seen.
He's not wrong, though, is he?
Say what?
Oh, he's not wrong.
It's like, what a great... And again, that's getting back to classic great joke wrapped in a fun story, like putting the two together, and there is truly something about this episode. I think I sold this episode a little short on my first watch, which is, it's weird to laugh more at my second watch. I think I laughed more the second watch because I was like, man, this really does feel like an old school episode.
Yes, it really does.
It's tight. It doesn't feel like a lot of waste. Except for one spot. We gotta get to that. But like it's just the jokes are coming fast and furious around the situations that they're in.
Like they're not forced, they feel natural to what's going on rather than being a forced joke just to be funny.
Right. So the last cold open we talked about the bathroom kit, the latrine kit that they basically got right over.
That was funny.
With the eye mask. You could cut the rest of that cold open and pretty much just get to that.
Yeah.
Right. But this one doesn't feel that way.
No.
There are 2 distinct bits. There's the coming in and, with the bit with Holly and the dog ears and stuff. And then there's the canary bit and but they don't feel wasted at all. Like two things that go together, like one leads to the next, right? He's desperate to try and find a way out.
It's like exposition, but it's funny as well. Although I do hate the way they're singing, "You are the sunshine of my life." Ooh, I hate that. I don't understand what that ooh bit is. It's weird. Because the song doesn't have that. It's odd.
They're not good enough to do a cappella thing for real. Yeah. Like the first time Lister does it, it works because he's just off the cuff going, man, we'll do a little bit, you know. But when
they
they're
all
together,
do it the same. Yeah. And have they rehearsed together to kind of get out of it? Because to sort of prove that that's what they thought it was, maybe.
I think there's a missed opportunity there with Crichton being a droid that he should have had been dub him over, but he would have the craziest high tenor voice that like blended in perfectly. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Would be amazing.
So I feel like it's been a while since we've had an Aliens reference.
Yep.
But those canaries definitely feel like the colonial marines from Aliens. Even the drum, the sort of army drum beat in the background's the same from the dropship scene in Aliens. I
wrote this down somewhere. The canary outfits are weirdly cool.
Do you know, I think they look a bit like the X-Men outfits from the...
Grant Morrison days?
No, I was specifically thinking of the... oh, God, who did the first 3 films? His name won't come to me. He's been cancelled now, isn't he? What's he called?
He's a bit like the Bryan Singer early films.
That's the one, yes.
Okay, but so you know what though? I'm gonna send you this picture or link and go, oh yeah, those are it. Because so I said the Grant Morrison run, I think Frank Quietly did the art, but it definitely you're gonna see this and go, oh yeah, that's why you said that. But for my comic nerds that are listening, you know what's up. Because it definitely is sort of a Grant Morrison Frank Quietly sort of vibe to it. I feel like with the costumes, maybe that is why I thought they looked neat, but it definitely has.
Oh yeah,
that look of the X-Men. I didn't even think about that. That's totally why my brain thinks that's cool.
Yeah,
because that was some peak X-Men time for me. But they are kind of cool, and you're right. There is definitely a implied sort of colonial Marines vibe.
Because I feel like Kill Crazy's supposed to be.
Like Hudson or
I was thinking more of oh my God, I haven't watched Aliens in so long, names aren't coming to me. So a little bit of Drake and a little bit of
Drake and Vasquez,
that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that's who he feels like who doesn't...
Anyone ever mistake you for a man? No.
Have you?
How about you?
Yeah. I might watch that this week. I haven't watched it in so long. I love that film. Honestly, that scene where they go down under the heat exchange and the motion trackers start popping off is probably one of the best scenes in any movie ever, quite honestly. It's brilliant.
Did I pay $1.99 for an app that does that, makes that noise, and you can punch it, you can tap it, and it adds aliens to it, little blips on it?
Awesome.
And my daughter and I use that running around the house playing Alien.
Brilliant.
Hunt. Absolutely.
But yeah, we haven't had an aliens reference, and it just, like I say, if you listen to the sort of drum army sort of score in the background, it sounds so much like the score that's behind the dropship scene in Aliens. So it's, I mean, how many times have we said there's been alien references in Red Dwarf since series 1? Tons of them. Is that James Horner? I think it is. Yes, it is. James Horner soundtrack for Aliens. Okay.
Oh yeah. He by the way, a soundtrack he hated because he didn't have long to work on it, and I love it. I think it's so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's great. But this definitely has that, and I think that again, I did like the guy. It was too much at first, but the crazy guy's delivery was like, yeah, we're gonna go, and then he stops, spikes the camera, looks right at it, and then just turns normal, walks off.
Yeah.
There was something about that. But the fact that because you're just like, oh no, we got to deal with this guy the whole episode.
Yes.
And that he drills his head on that bulkhead. and props to the continuity of, 20 minutes later in the show, he's laying on the ground with the red bruise that's in the shape of the bulkhead on his head. I was like, oh, that's great, man. It's just, because it's a gag, but I love what they actually have a gag that carries through.
At least they got some continuity correct in this episode, because there's a huge bit in a second. So let's talk about Cassandra herself. Geraldine McEwen. This is pretty big actress. By the way,
the Cassandra scene is exactly where it feels like Series 6 to me. But go ahead. Tell us about Cassandra.
So she was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. She's also been a huge part of Wallace and Gromit over the years. So
who was she in Prince of Thieves?
I did look. So I haven't seen Prince of Thieves in a long time, but I did look her up.
She wasn't. It's been a while since I've seen Prince of Thieves. The best British accents ever performed on camera. Freaking Christian Slater.
Oh my God, yeah.
Christian Slater and Kevin Costner, so bad. Christian Slater's, there was a rich man from Nottingham. I mean, I can't, it's so bad.
Look, it's no worse than Don Cheadle's Cockney accent in Ocean's 11, to be fair.
Oh, I forget about that.
It's terrible.
Right. Was she the witch?
Yeah, I think so.
She's great in this.
Oh, she's excellent.
She's so cheeky with her all-knowingness. And
she was Mortiana in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, is the secondary antagonist, apparently. Yeah, she's the witch.
Yeah, so she's the witch. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great, quite honestly. Her hair's a bit freaky and stuff, but I kind of love the whole... I love sort of playing with the future thing when she says whatever it is. She says something, and Lister goes, I'm not going to say that. And she's like, I never said you did.
But how can you know the future? It hasn't happened yet. She goes...
But it's clever. It's a really cleverly written episode, actually.
Yeah, it's fun. It's the classic sci-fi thing. It like the scene with her feels like old Red Dwarf. Crichton.
Yeah.
Crichton even coming back in, and in this episode in particular, he's back to being the science officer again.
Yes.
Like he very much leans into that, and like figuring stuff out. And it kind of starts in the previous episode when he figures out they're not in virtual reality, or they're not in reality. When he figures that out, it's like, oh, nice. It's starting to come back a bit. But I love this scene is where I really was like, man, why didn't they just go do adventure? Why didn't they just go do adventures? Because that's basically what it is. But I love that bit. That's a really fun scene. And she is great. And the special effect is great too. It looks like a better version of a Holly head.
And it feels like that whole mainframe room feels very Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, it's very Doctor Who.
So here's where I have continuity issues, right? So Rimmer says, Chris is right. Something like that would mess up your life forever. Cassandra, I have a question. I know Arnold because I know the rest of this conversation. So what's the answer? She says, he chokes to death aged 181 trying to remove a bra with his teeth. Best joke ever, by the way. A bra? Whose bra? At 181? It's probably yours.
Yeah. But it's still pretty sexy. That is, sir, if the teeth are in your mouth. Yeah.
But then literally 5 minutes later, she says they're all going to die all the canaries will die within the hour, except Rimmer. And he says, yes, who will die in 20 minutes. So she's in one breath, Lister's not going to die until he's 181, taking off a brow with his teeth.
Well,
but then in the next sentence, all the canaries will die in an hour because the bulkhead's just gone.
But did you catch, makes me think there's something cut by mistake, or maybe not written incorrectly. Did you catch when she says it again later when he shows back up with not wearing the Rimmer vest? So when he comes back in the room, because I caught what you're talking about too, and Not dies, and he's like, yes, Rimmer, because she's like, Rimmer died, and obviously it's not the actual Rimmer. And she says, she goes, why are you so excited? Because I'm still alive. She goes, but do you hear what I said? You're going to die with all the other canaries except for Lister, Kachansky, Crichton, and the cat.
But she never said that initially, though.
No, she says it. That's what I mean. It's weird.
Okay.
She says it
later
and
on.
the second later when it's just Rimmer and not Lieutenant, not whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what he is. But
my name's Not what? Not.
But she says it then, and
Okay.
I thought she didn't actually say that the first time.
No, she didn't. She says
Also-
initially she says all the canaries will die in the next hour except Rimmer.
How does she know it's Chris is Chris and Arnold is Arnold, but that he's not Rimmer?
She does. I just don't. And it's just for comedy effect at that point.
I mean, because I know that like he says, well, she thinks in pictures. Again, more AI conversations. She thinks in pictures. She doesn't know what any of it means, so I'll change my outfit. But what would have given him, and again, it's one of those things you start to pick at it a little bit, what would give him the idea that that's how she thinks? I know there's the whole scene of, well, you're such a, use your, what is that line? Use your stupidity, sir.
Yeah, she can't predict the future. She only sees images. So I can't remember. One of them says that. Yeah, you're right.
But she doesn't say that. She doesn't,
No.
like, she gives no inclination onto how what she does works.
That's true.
So there's a lot I feel like missing in there, but I definitely caught it second time through, especially because she says it later. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, you didn't say that.
Okay. Yeah.
You did not say that, Chris.
No.
Yeah.
She said
She
all
says,
the canaries.
Except for Rimmer.
Who's going to die in 20
And
minutes.
then, yeah.
Interesting.
But also, wasn't he wearing his vest that said Rimmer or waistcoat, if I'm on an English
At
podcast?
that time, yes, he was.
So I'm also confused by that too. I'm like, well, what difference does it make unless I don't know.
There's some there's some definite continuity episodes in this one.
Yeah, it's a clever, as you said, a cleverly written, but and I feel like the guy's name being Not, it was there for the taking to say, there's a way to do this, I think, to make it work. I wonder if in an edit something got cut and like, oh, it's like a movie where they could come back and do pickup shots. They're like,
maybe
this doesn't, And again, I didn't necessarily catch it the first time through.
No. And again, it's just us being overly picky because of what we're doing.
Is that what Tracy caught though?
Yes, she was the one that said, hang on, because she just said he survives till he's 181, and yet, and then she says they all die in the next hour. Very strange. It's a good, it's little things like that are going to drag this down in points, because I feel like if she referenced that earlier, all the canaries are going to die, actually, except Rimmer, the cat, Lister, and Kachansky, but Rimmer, you're going to die in 20 minutes. Then you forgive the rest. Well, not forgive it, because it's been explained.
Yeah, but it's a time travel episode without being time travel.
Yeah.
Right? In the sense that when we like time travel, yes, the performances and everything in Back to the Future are fantastic. But the premise that it rides on, and it covers its own tail so well with its own internal logic, makes that movie even more fun in subsequent viewings.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my God, I didn't catch that the first, but this is all, they really did tie all this to, even if they didn't plan all the parts of 2 and 3, they went back to look at and tried their best to make it all like tie, right? And it's just,
that's the issue with this. It's such a tiny little thing.
Or if they would just prove that she is full of crap.
Yeah.
And and they kind of allude to it, that she makes predictions happen.
Because apparently Cassandra's like the Greek goddess of something to do with Apollo who made predictions, and they were generally crap.
Yeah. Yeah, she was destined to no, they were real, but she was destined to always have a true
no,
prediction, but no one would believe her.
it. Huh, sounds interesting. So let's. So I guess she who shall not be named used that reference for Professor Trelawney, I guess.
Yep.
Interesting.
So everything. Totally.
Yeah.
Yep, that's totally what that character is.
Cool. I never noticed that. Oh, you learn something new every day.
Yeah. So everybody will get. So you get told the truth. Hey, leave tomorrow. This volcano is going to explode. But no, it's not. Yeah.
So I want to jump forward a little bit to the most stupid joke that's in this episode, but still makes me.
How far did you skip?
Not too far.
What scene?
They're all sat around drinking something.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
So Lister says...
I love when you and I write the same stuff.
So Lister sits there and he's like, oh, well, it's not the first time we've been in a situation like this, is it? And Kat goes, hell no, we've drunk coffee thousands of times.
I laughed so hard at that.
So stupid, so easy, just so, again, low-hanging fruit, but brilliant. Just it's all about the delivery. It's perfect.
When I have had the opportunity to write comedy stuff, I always write a dumb character in because I love stuff like this.
But that's such British humor. It's such
yes.
It's the type of joke. If we were sat at work in a very similar situation and somebody said that, I would make that same joke.
Yes. Hell no, we've had coffee thousands of times. We're veterans.
Yeah, I would make that joke because it's just funny, isn't it?
And again, classic Red Dwarf cat bit.
Yes.
Too. Like,
And that's when he references Future Echoes, because Lister says Future Echoes, remember? Future
Echoes. It does feel weird, right? Maybe only because you and I are doing a podcast about this show, but I was like, God, it really just feels like he just dropped an episode. Like, he's like, you guys remember series 1, episode 5? Or what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
literally, it feels like it should have been a fourth wall break. Like a wink to the audience of Lister look at the camera and go, Future Echoes, remember?
If you're rebooting...
Why reference something from...
Well, why would you call... I would say, don't you guys remember when we encountered like the visions of our future? We thought there's no way they could happen, and they did. Like, why would you say, remember Future Echoes, and not really... You know what I mean? Like, I know it's over-explaining, but that'd be a way to bring in a new viewer, right? Like, because this is the day and age. Again, like, I know they're selling stuff, but it's not streaming, so it's not like everyone's just going to go back and watch. It feels like something they would have... You just explain it a little bit. You guys remember we encountered these future echoes in the past, and we thought, there's no way I could ever be pregnant and have kids, and it happened, and Kachansky's like, what? Later. Like, you know, that would be hysterical.
Because she doesn't know any of that, does she?
Yeah, and would maybe encourage a new watcher to be like, I'm gonna go grab that DVD or grab that VHS. I want to see what the heck that was. But to just call it Future Echoes, I don't know, it just felt weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like daft little one-liners in this. I love the one as well where Lister's like, hey, I've been surviving in space for 5 or 6 years. When it comes to weirdy paradox space stuff, I bought the t-shirt. And Craig goes, he bought it and I ironed it for him.
Yes. And I ironed it, sir.
So we're starting to lean back on, again, that weird, to use the word that's just there, that paradox thing of like Crichton being the science officer, but also the like sanitation bot. He's still the laundry guy.
Yes. Well, and that's always what made it the most funny was that here's this guy that's like Captain Bogbot, as Rimmer would call him, who's like cleaning the toilets and folding the laundry, but he's trying to learn and do brilliant science work, the replicator to make the strawberries and stuff. But he also is insanely excited to stack finger sandwiches in a good little way and like make the fold. So I love that about him. I didn't like in series 7 when they started making it seem like he didn't like to do some of those things.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what makes it funny. I like the idea of breaking the programming. You wrote the programming. You don't have to clean for everybody. Oh, I get to choose to do it because I love it? Yes. No, wait, don't do that. But that's what I want to do. I love it. I mean, like, that's funny. Like, I think that's something that I think works. And it's nice leaning that back in. In fact, my note says, after the Future Echoes was lots of classic sounding Red Dwarf punchlines and conversations. Just dip.
It's interesting. Something that's just because I've got the script up in front of me, and it's just because the whole bit about them having the conversation about basically if you don't know anything and you don't know anything, then you're not as hampered as people who have knowledge because, which is very interesting. It's a conversation Tracy and I have all the time. Like, dumb people must find life so much easier at times because... Anyway...
it's so true.
Yeah, it really is. But it's like, shut your stupid face, flathead. We haven't had as many references to the shape of Crichton's head so far as I thought there was. And I'm not just talking about this series.
Well, there were a lot in 4, 5, and 6,
There hasn't been not a lot, really. I think you'd be surprised how many we've had. There's not a ton.
Well, I think it's because the ones that were memorable. Like Crichton's, just because of a head shaped like a novelty condom doesn't mean I don't know. Like, I mean, there are so many good ones said, or 2 damn hours to panel beat my head back into shape.
I don't think there's that many. Like, half
What's the other famous one?
Head.
Just because I have a head shaped like an amusing Herman Munster. There's one about Herman Munster in there somewhere.
A novelty ice cube. There's a few, but there's not as many.
Yeah.
I thought there was way more than there actually is, which surprised me more. It did make me laugh when he spills his coffee on Not so that he can switch his jacket round. That he's like, oh, Rimmer, what are you doing? It's like, don't call me Rimmer. Never call me Rimmer. Call me Arsewipe or Fish Breath, but never Rimmer. And he goes straight away. He's like, all right then, Arsewipe. That he doesn't even entertain Fish Breath. He goes straight to Arsewipe. I love that. That's so British. Like, if you give me 2 options and one of them's way more derogatory than the other, I'm going to go for that one.
It's straight for it.
Yeah. Without hesitation.
And someone
Brilliant.
dies, by the way. We don't have a lot of people that actually die on Red Dwarf. Like, it's robots or it's holograms or it's creatures. But like, I was like, there's a heart attack. We don't do a lot of those. Do we? Like,
but that's brilliant, isn't it? Because you're going to die in 30 seconds of a heart attack because you've just heard me tell you're going to die in 30 seconds of a heart attack.
See, it is kind of where the Cassandra thing starts to fall apart, doesn't it?
Oh no, I like that. I think it's funny.
Well, no. I mean, in the like, so then how does she know everybody's names?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of liberties. But it's obviously just for the story's sake. That's why she refers to him as Arnold all the time. So you get away with having the whole thing of like, oh, she doesn't know I'm Rimmer, so if I can get someone else to come in who she might think is Rimmer, that's the only reason it's played out for. That's why when she's like, oh, you're going to die in about an hour, Lister's going to shoot you through the head with a harpoon gun, making love to Kachansky. And he's like, so let me get this straight. So I'm going to be making love with Chris. That's the woman, right? Yes.
Well, it's the way he says woman kills woman. Like there's a emphasis he does on the O of the woman that cracks me up. The woman.
Brilliant.
So,
it's just,
so good.
I mean, let's be honest. You wouldn't turn it down, would you? If that's how you were going to go, there's worse ways to go. It's such classic Rimmer too. Even like him in the t-shirt and the box shorts, da like dancing and stuff. So according to the trivia, she was actually naked under that blanket, which seems a weird thing.
Yeah, but I don't know if I believe that because I saw that trivia in IMDb, but on my whatever way that this show is never intended to watch on a big 4K screen, you can see clear straps helping hold up her towel or blanket.
Oh, okay. I never noticed that.
I was like, I think they're lying. I don't think you'd spot those on TV, regular old cathode ray, like but like you can kind of see there. I was like, I don't know if that's true. That feels like an odd thing to throw out. But man, so Randy, Rimmer gets this moment that's going to happen.
But then think about it. This is Rimmer, not hologram Rimmer. So potentially he would be more Randy because he knows he can.
This is true. But not only that, like he knows he can, but then it's weird that he has the moment of like, hey, sorry, thanks for everything. I wouldn't have wanted to be. And then like he picks up, her pants and is like, can I keep these? And I'm like, man, God, this Rimmer is it's definitely different.
There's a really weird reference. So going back to the bit when he's like, so let me just repeat what you're saying. So Arnold, that's me, and Kachansky, that's the woman. The really attractive one you saw earlier. Me and her were in bed giving it Riz.
Giving it Riz!
I've never heard that before.
But that's a modern term.
Yeah, but Riz means something else now.
Well, so charisma, right? So it's like, I've got the Riz, right? Boy, did I sound like an old guy when I said that. But that's what the kids today say. And by kids today, I might be 5 years too late already.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah,
But giving it that struck me as weird too, because I think of that as a modern term.
Yeah, it's not, like we talked about, haven't we, of having British references that I kind of expected you to be I have a British reference here that I don't think I know what it means, Lee. What is giving it? And I'd go, I don't know what giving it Riz means, because it's not something we ever used. In 1999, how old will I have been? 24, so I wasn't a kid at this point. It's not a term I've heard anyone in this country use for the act, shall we say. So it's a strange one. I actually Googled it yesterday and it came up more with the more modern term for it, to be fair. But it's a weird... I mean, we've never accused Red Dwarf of not having weird references in it.
Do you know what's funny? So I just did a quick search, like giving it the Riz, Red Dwarf, to see if I could find like a reference or whatever. You know, it was talking about cracking up about AI hallucinating and not getting stuff right. Okay. So I searched it up, and here's the Google AI review. The phrase "giving it Riz" is used by Arnold Rimmer in A Vision of the Future, referring to being in bed with Kachansky. Contextual details. Source: this line appears in Red Dwarf episode Me Too.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it might do.
It does not at all. Usage: Rimmer describes his imagined romantic and sexual encounter with Kachansky as giving it Riz.
Me squared, by the way, Blake, not Me Too.
Or me too. It's true. we argued about that. Remember, like, what would it actually be called?
Me squared.
Me squared.
Me Too, something completely different. I think we had that conversation.
That's what it was. That's right. Yeah. So, well, the AI wrote it out weird too, didn't it? It did it as Me Too, not the squared. Anyway, I just thought it was hysterical that it absolutely got that wrong by about 7 series.
Yes, of course it would, because it has no idea what it's talking about, and yet people believe this stuff.
That's friggin' brilliant. But yeah, that hit my ear real weird, because I was like, wait,
strange.
what?
I've never heard that. There's many British terms that you can use that aren't descriptively explicit. Giving it Riz is not one that I've heard anybody use.
Giving it the Riz. It says giving it the Riz. What does he
just
say?
Giving it Riz. So the really attractive one you saw earlier, me and her were in bed giving it Riz when Lister, that's the short dumpy one with the stupid haircut, walks in and shoots me through the head while I'm making love with Kachansky. That is what is going to happen. Strange, just a strange, weird. It's weird.
Yeah, and it became popular for the term Riz for charisma in 21 and 22 on TikTok.
Yeah.
God, that's so so funny. Like, but I'm glad you brought that up, because that definitely I was like, wait, what?
It's a very convoluted episode. The more I start thinking about when we get to the back end of it, and it's all about, it's like, why when Lister bursts in, doesn't he? And he's like, "You're not bothered about me, about to make love to Kachansky." He's like, "No, because I know why." And it's like, because she knows.
It's like we're missing a scene.
She's trying to wind me up to get me to kill you, because she knows that I'm the one that's... I don't understand why killing Rimmer is going to stop him killing Cassandra later on. I'm not quite sure.
Well, right before the end, I do want to give one more cultural reference.
Okay.
We are back to flipping off the bird. When Rimmer says, "Well, yes. You ever heard this?"
Yes.
And flips to the bird instead of the flying V's.
Sadly, I have, yes.
But I thought, see, again, Red Dwarf. It's always been the bird, right?
Yeah, always.
Have you ever seen a flying V? Yeah.
The only time we've ever seen the 2 fingers are the scutters.
Oh, yeah, because that makes sense. The puppet with the 3 fingers. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure I got that in there, because I was like, oh, there's another one. Right there it is.
Yeah, I don't understand why, because Lister basically says she's told you that you're going to die making love to Kachansky to get at me, because she knows I'm eventually going to kill. That doesn't make sense.
And there's a bit of a cop-out, isn't it? Because he said, "How'd you figure this out?" Crichton figured it out. Well, Crichton. I'm like, yeah, I feel like we're missing something, and you guys were like over time for the show, so you just wrote in the one line that Crichton figured it out.
Yeah.
Because we are kind of missing something, and I do feel like, as I told you, I thought this episode, I said this in the previous episode, that this episode ramped up well, but I was a little dissatisfied at the ending, and it has to do with this a bit, in that it's missing, like, every now and then Red Dwarf would have a poignant end, right? Like, they made fun of one time when Crichton's like, "Oh, those guys trying to play God and all this stuff," or whatever. And,
yes.
And then he felt right. But then they did have some episodes that were like that. Like, man, those scientists really messed up trying to play God, whatever. And it gets all serious. And then Crichton's, "Well, that reminds me of a space entity sitting not a million miles from me right now, sir." But there was the poignant sort of thing. And it feels like this episode was supposed to have that. So she's sent here alone because Crichton surmises you had no crew. You were too dangerous to be left alive. So they crashed the ship. Now, does Cassandra want to die? Is she a suicidal robot or AI at this point and forcing things to happen?
But she doesn't. That's why she's trying. So I've got the script up here. It's like Kachansky says, there's a funny line from Kachansky as well, which makes me laugh. Kachansky says, no, why aren't you mad that I'm in bed with him? Because I know why you're in bed with him. And I also know that I don't kill him. And Kachansky says, but Cassandra promised. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant line. Lister says, no, Cassandra made that up to force you two together so that you'd feel sorry for him and hopefully end up sleeping with him. So why did she say that she saw it happen? To try and make it happen. But why? To try and punish me. Punish you? Why? Because Cassandra knows and has always known how she dies. She's trying to make me suffer now for something that I'm destined to do in the future. It's kind of weak.
Right, because then so why doesn't Lister just leave? But instead he goes to talk to her to sort of prove that he's a good man and then accidentally gets her killed. Which I feel like what we're missing then is Cassandra being like, if you'd have just left, I'd still be alive, but because you have to make sure that I know what a good person you are, you've killed me. That feels like an old school Red Dwarf thing.
Yeah.
But also, I just thought that visual ending, again, instead of a verbal punchline, I think it doesn't work because Lister sees it happen.
Yeah, you think if he'd have walked out not thinking that he'd been the good guy and then it happened after he's left would have had more of an impact.
And yeah, then you almost got Cassandra stayed the camera. Told you so.
Yes. Yeah, that would have been perfect. Yeah.
It's weird because I remember the first time I watched the rewatch, I watched all these a long time ago for Series 8, but the first time rewatching it for this show, I hadn't seen it in years. And it started and then I was surprised when Lister was still there. I was like, oh, he's still there because it feels like he should be gone.
Yeah.
All that should happen. And then.
Yes. Because then he thinks he's still been the good guy.
But then you find out, nope, everything's predetermined.
Yeah.
And so it's weirdly watched. What is he just like smeg and walks off or something? Like it just feels like we're ramping up to an interesting ending or something. And it just.
Lowest common denominator ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was
right.
like, bet you didn't see that coming, did you? I don't know. Something cheesy. It doesn't have to be. It just feels weak.
Yeah. That's exactly what I've just said. Yeah. It's interesting. Like, it's funny how when we started talking about it, like, this is actually a really cleverly written episode, which it is up to a point. But then, yeah, the end does feel like there's no point in her punishing him. He's going to kill her anyway. She knows that. Why punish him for it?
Right.
But then also...
And can she predict nothing but only force it to is that true? Like, I don't...
It's also strange, right? This was my biggest issue with it. I always feel like we're on these episodes, but not really. It's just us trying to make them out to... like how they could be better than they are. So... the reason she is where she is because they couldn't destroy her, so they sent the ship out into the middle of nowhere so no one would come anywhere near her. But then Lister literally does it by sticking some gum. If it was that easy to kill her, why couldn't someone else have done it?
That I was going to say too. She dies so easily. A plug gets a little liquid on it and it fries. And
you can't tell me that like all these science officers or wherever it was that had her couldn't just unplug her.
Right. Now if you had crew on there and the mystery was, well, these people they wrecked this on purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, say, I don't know. It's like, what was that movie? God, Event Horizon on there.
I haven't seen
Things are bad and they're like, we're just going to crash this ship or whatever. Yeah. And I know we're being really overly like picky on
that's a
goofy sci-fi.
Yeah.
But the problem is they've got episodes like Gunmen of the Apocalypse and things that are kind of heady sci-fi concept, but they tie all the knots together very well.
There's a lot of weird, there's a few liberties with this and then things that don't quite, I think you've said it before, Blake, there's some of these scripts you feel like that'll do rather than it could have just
one more
done
pass.
with Yes.
Just
and this one
pass.
feels like that. And like if they could have just figured out the ending, had that reference to Kat, Chris, and Lister surviving and all the other canaries, I feel like this would have been a really highly rated episode, but there's just a few little things that didn't quite hit that we've kind of gone, it just feels a bit phoned in.
Because the gag at the end of
times.
her dying that way isn't really funny. It would be more funny if he wasn't there.
And she, like you say, sort of break the fourth wall of like, oh, well, I told you.
Yep. Boom. No one ever listens to me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's perfect. No one listens to me. That would have been a brilliant ending.
Which is funny because if the concept was we crashed this ship and hated it because this pain in the ass AI, all it does is tell us stuff that makes no sense. And then when it comes true, says, I told you so, and we hate it.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, because if you're going to name it Cassandra, if you're going to allude to the Greek mythology of it, I mean, if you didn't have that written, if you didn't have her name be Cassandra, I don't know that they aren't really doing that.
No.
Where people don't. In fact,
because
it's the
they're all
reverse.
believing
They
her.
do believe her.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? So I want to just off the back of that, talking about Geraldine McEwen again. The last piece of trivia, and it kind of blew my mind. So it says Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah.
So Alan Rickman persuaded Geraldine McEwen to take the role of Cassandra for the fourth show of Series 8, Cassandra. Now, why is Alan Rickman relevant? Because apparently he was the original choice to play Rimmer. What?
No. Remember we talked about this early on.
I don't remember that.
It was him and Alfred Molina, right?
What?
Yeah, it wasn't Alfred. Come on, do you not? Come on, this is like Series 1.
Come on, Blake. How long ago was that? I don't remember what I did yesterday.
I lived in a different state then. This is it was. I think it was Alfred Molina and Alan Rickman. Because Craig Charles has made the joke before, like, yeah, but look what turned into those guys' career. Nothing. But yeah, they were two of the tops for it.
I cannot imagine either of those two playing. I mean, to be fair to Chris Barry, I can't imagine anybody but Chris Barry playing Rimmer at this point.
Yeah.
But those two, like Alan Rickman, no. No.
Yeah, I could see Alfred Molina. I could see the choice of Molina for visually for Lister.
Rimmer.
I mean, sorry. No, him for Lister, not Alfred Molina.
Oh, okay,
Alfred Molina was up for Lister, and Alan Rickman was up, for Rimmer.
So we could have had Alan Rickman and Alfred Molina playing Rimmer and Lister. That would have been weird.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked. It'd have been like Snape and Dr. Octopus. I don't see how that works. So strange. Yeah, I hate it when we did this because I went into this episode really enjoying it, feeling like it was a really cleverly written episode for really, like you said, tight. There isn't a lot of fluff in there at all, to be fair. It is still a really tight episode. Definitely feels like a much earlier episode where it's very succinct and it's funny. There's some really great one-liners in there, but then you start going through it and it unravels a little bit by the end and doesn't quite finish how you would have liked it to. But isn't that weird?
Because I think we came out to be a bit harsher on the previous episode 3, and I think we walked away enjoying it more.
Yeah.
I went into that one going, and I actually, on conversation with you, I was like, God, there are a lot of bits in here I really did enjoy. And then this one, I was like, this one's so much stronger. It's so much tighter. It is.
But it isn't.
But and again, the problem I think comes down to we have the reference of these classic episodes where no fat, so good, everything. It's that weird thing of when you do science fiction or fantasy type stuff, you have to be on your game in an unfair way almost compared to other people or other genres, because when you create an internal logic for how your system, people will believe anything. You want you want Wookiees walking around, we'll buy it. But you have to be consistent. And because I think the problem is there's wasted time, right? Like why? Okay, when they come in, she knows it's Chris, Dave, and Arnold. But later doesn't know that that's Rimmer, but how does she know the first 3 names? And then you start questioning that. Well, how does she know their names then if she does not really predicting the future? To then later go, well, how does Lister know what she says or
exactly?
If he doesn't it just feels like because I'm going to tell you, a computer protagonist that says, I will tell you exactly what you're going to do is such a great foil for the Dave Lister that we have been set up for.
And we got it for probably half an episode.
Yes, and it feels like his sort of thing at the end when he comes back to save Chris and Rimmer and is like, I'm going to go toe-to-toe with this thing. It's like, boy, this was almost missing about 10 minutes ago. Because it does feel like something that a conundrum that Lister would wrestle with. And old Lister would, our back to reality that we talked about, how like the idea that Lister finds out he's like the fascist dictator really messes with his head, right? That's the whole point of the Despair Squid. But like, I think that's part of the problem is the premise of this actually sets up the idea of a way better concept. Also, where the hell is Holly?
He's not yet at all. No.
Would you not introduce Holly into that scene like Dave has the watch and throws Holly on the screen or something? Because Holly and her feels like, why isn't that a...
Yes.
Like it's right there.
Yeah.
She's this floating head that's like the future and stuff. But where's Holly?
I guess the argument is that they've taken him off Rimmer's watch at this point as like a punishment.
No, because Lister walks in and throws him on the screen. Remember? Dog.
True, yeah.
Yeah, that's the dog gag in the beginning.
But then they weren't officially part of the Canaries, so let's just give them benefit of the doubt that once they joined the Canaries, like they were like, oh, you can't have that on there, we need to get rid of him off there.
But it just seems like something that you would have...
Yeah, no, it would have, like having a back and forth between them two would have been hilarious, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really would. He would have gone back to sort of Queeg and Gordon days, yeah. Yeah, that's a shame. I actually never considered Holly at any point.
To be honest, till just now, didn't even cross my mind.
Crazy, isn't it? It just shows again how much he's still not part of it, even though he's back. We haven't accepted him as a big part of it back because he's kind of not.
Well, it's like, what do we do with him? Like early on, they're like, we'll put him in the TV that travels. We're like... But they did the watch thing and kind of did the Apple TV thing where they can sling him to different screens. So it feels like like something that you would do.
It was like the little screen in Crichton's belly. They only ever did that like once and then they never did it again, which was strange.
But this would seem like the perfect opportunity to drop that in.
Yeah.
Even just a one-liner with her.
Yeah.
Like,
strange.
It is. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I actually, talking about this episode in the previous episode, excited. I was super keen on it.
Yeah.
And I'm a little less keen right now.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad episode by any stretch of the imagination. I just think, as we've kind of talked about, what we want from a real top-tier Red Dwarf episode is an episode that's funny, but the story works and is kind of wrapped up with no loose ends. And this kind of isn't that. It's funny. It has a really good story, but just at the final hour kind of lets itself slip a little bit. Yeah,
unfortunately for Red Dwarf, they have some really good stuff to compare it to.
Yeah.
That's their problem.
I mean, you've got an episode that literally, this episode even compares itself to that episode by referencing it.
Yeah. And that was a weirder sci-fi concept. This is only quasi-weird.
Yeah.
Also, I was also confused because, not for nothing, the rest of the Canaries don't die.
We don't know that though, do we?
Was she trying to force
do we know that though?
Well, it sounds like they get everyone out because he only goes back.
No, it's true.
To her, yeah. Again, it's the premise starts to
just unravel a little bit.
Yeah. In a way that's a little unfortunate. Like
it is, because it's still, like I say, I feel like we've been quite negative on it, but not because we didn't like it, just because you just start to look at things and realize little plot holes, little things that just would have made it so much better than it was.
Right. And it was, and I think the other problem it had was it was genuinely good.
Yeah.
Like it was setting up like very, very well for a very strong episode. And it just
ran out of steam.
Fell off a little bit. Yeah. Like, oh, now, well, then what's your rating now? I feel like that's what it's got us to.
So I'm still going to give it, I'll give it the same as the last one. I'll give it a 6. I think the last one went up 1. This one goes down 1. I think I would have given this a 7 had it been what we wanted it to be. But I still think it's a really good overall episode.
It's funny. I was close to calling it a 7. And then the more we talked, it kind of drifted to a 6. Some really funny bits, but just something at the end there. I think I'm really bothered. The writer in me is really bothered by a line like, well, how did you figure this out? Actually, Crichton did.
Yes.
Oh, but you didn't show it. You didn't like that's super fresh. Also, conversely, Crichton would have been fun to show up. Wait, what are you doing here with a harpoon gun?
Yeah.
Well, that's because Mr. Lister knew if he came, it would have been him. This way, we ensure that Cassandra can't predict the future and therefore will not die. And then he does all that. She goes out. Yeah. He walks in and says, and he leaves. And he does something when he leaves that destroys her. I don't know. But like, or maybe, yeah. I mean, look, it's a lot of what ifs. We've said this in previous episodes. Like, we're not TV writers. We're not trying to like say we know what works. It just, sometimes it's when you see the pieces of the recipe all kind of floating out there. And you're like, I feel like maybe again, like it's that one more pass thing. It's that one more.
It's virtually there, just not quite.
Yeah. Sometimes that's more annoying than when it's not there at all.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it. You just want it. Yeah. Then just going, oh, it's crap. And it would take an absolute rewrite to make something like Body Swap. It was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the choice of going, man, you guys should not have done the ADR. It doesn't work. So this one rides. I'm gonna say the 6.
I'm gonna stick with the 6. I think that's good, a decent.
I enjoyed it. I certainly like on the ride there. I laughed more. I thought I was seeing old school dwarf stuff and seeing the crew back together. Barely you see other people, but it really does get back to the core crew very quick. Really enjoyable. I'm curious to see where this continues to go. I remember a bit the next episode, and I only remember a gag for the one after that. So
I think it's a good indicator of how well we like these episodes, and knowing how well we like these episodes, of watching them as many times as we do leading up to recording these podcasts. And I think you can tell. It's like I watched this episode last Friday at work for my second viewing, and then I watched it for my note-taking third viewing yesterday. And I think if it was an episode that you were like, you'd like, I don't really want to watch it for a third time because I've already watched it twice and that was enough. But I wasn't like that going into watching it for the third time. I was like, I'm looking forward to watching it again. Not like, do I really have to watch it again?
What made me hard to watch some episodes in series 7 was I find it hard. Like what's that term? Like embarrassment by proxy, secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
When I watch someone try to be funny and they just aren't. And in series 7, there were a lot of moments of just trying to be funny. Yeah. And I will give credit so far for this one. Yes, they're making jokes, quote unquote. They are trying to be funny. But it feels like it's coming out of what's happening.
Yes.
Yes, is that a joke you don't have to have the whole, we never found ourselves in a place like this before. Hell yeah, we had coffee 1,000 times. You don't need that joke. But based on the characters and the history that we've had with them and how that's great. That is a trying to be funny that, one, you're not trying to be funny, as Yoda says, you just are. Do or do not.
Yeah.
Right? So it absolutely works. And I hope as it goes, as we've seen other previous series. Of course, I don't know we don't know the filming order of these. We found out a lot in 3, 4, 5, in not so much 6, but 3, 4, and 5, that those orders flopped all over the place. And I don't know what the deal is with here, if these were more shot subsequently, but it is a fascinating artifact, right? And you were like, I really love series 1 and 2, and I loved series like 5 and 6 as my favorite. And this is weirdly trying to slap all of that together.
Yeah. Successfully or unsuccessfully, however you want to see it. Yeah. But I think it's definitely, I think it helps coming off the back of the previous series helps massively.
Oh, if this was series 7, we might not be so friendly.
No. I don't know. I think it...
Well, I mean, saying that like you have the kind of the dip, and then we were very excited to see where 8 started compared to where 7 ended.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the rest of this season. It's a return to form. Again, I feel like we've been negative on it, but we haven't. It's definitely an upshot from
No, you know what's funny? Our negativity is we actually really like a lot of this and wish it were just even better.
And that's what we're doing. I said this to Tracy when we were recording the episode yesterday. It's like, I still love the whole Dwayne Dibley thing that you were like, rather than showing them going through the motions of putting the mops on and the teeth, just going, hey, I know what we should do, and then cutting to the Reservoir Dogs corridor walk would have been, and she was like, that would have been perfect. And like the impact would have been so much harder.
Yeah, because you don't want to see that set up.
No, you don't need that setup. The joke actually would hit harder without that setup.
I mean, think about why his first appearance is perfect. Like, Lister wakes up from the thing. Oh, his hair is all funny. People laugh at it. Rimmer wakes up. Crichton looks different. And then it's everybody kind of giggle tittering at the different wigs people are wearing. And then you say, what the hell happened to my teeth? Like,
yeah,
it hits like a ton of bricks out of nowhere.
You don't need it.
It's so great.
If you'd have just had that of like, I know what we should do, and you're like, oh, I wonder what that is, and then have them walk out all as Dwayne Dibley's, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. Even if he handed each one of them a full mop, don't take it off yet. Here, take this. I got an idea.
Yes.
Boom. Yes. Yeah.
That's like the halfway point of kind of showing you what it's going to be, but not. Yeah, okay, I could do with that. Yeah, I like that, and that's what we do.
Okay, and that would help people that had never seen Series 5 or 6, wherever he popped up. Did he pop up in 7 again? No, 6.
Polymorph and...
Oh, because Ace Rimmer made a return in 6 because he got the stuff sucked out of him. Emo Hawk, right? The Emo Hawk where it sucked out his cool.
Yeah.
And sucked out the cowardice of Rimmer, so he became Ace.
Oh, it wasn't Emo. It wasn't Polymorph. Was it Polymorph?
No, Emo Hawk was a version of the Polymorph. It was Back to Reality, Emo Hawk. And then, was that it?
I'm trying to think. What did Cat end up as in Polymorph then, or did he not?
No, he didn't. In Polymorph, they didn't. They just took his confidence, right? He was like, oh, you guys are all great. I'm nothing. He took his confidence. It didn't yeah.
My brain doesn't work anymore. Anyway, that's by the by.
We're only up to 8 series. What are you talking about? I still can't believe you forgot the Alan Rickman and Alfred Molina trivia from way back when.
We've been doing this podcast a long time. My brain is addled now.
Perfect. Well, I believe that brings us to the end of this podcast.
I think so. Halfway through Series 8.
That's right. Be sure to follow us on Facegram and Facegram.
Woo, Facegram and Instabook.
Your brain. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dwarf Memory for all show updates.
And we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, rate, and review the show wherever you can, and email us your comments to dwarfmemory@gmail.com.
The next episode we'll be discussing will be the 5th episode of Series 8, which will be Crichton TV. We get a Crichton-centered episode. I'm happy. So make sure to, he said, not remembering much about the episode. I hope it's a good one. So make sure to watch that episode before you join us for our next episode.
So if the future's all worked out, horoscopes, all that stuff, it means we're not responsible for anything we do. It means we just act as saying lines in a script written by someone else. I don't want to believe that. I want to believe I'm in charge of my own life, my own destiny. So I'm not going to kill you, Cassandra. I'm out of here.
But you do kill me. I've seen it.
Tomorrow's a new day, a fresh page in a book that's not been written yet. What happens in the future's up to me, not some predetermined destiny, Smeg. I'll see you, kidder. Smeg.